JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 18th of February 2021. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. Now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is the German index DAX, and yep. Today we are seeing the German index kind of trading fractionally below that 21-day EMA. Now it did initially open, it did push higher, however, then kind of quickly reversed back down. But as you can see, the bulls kind of stepped in here near this hurdle, near the 13,866 territory, and kind of pushed the index back up here. So basically, in other words, we're now back to square one, and we're not really doing much here, so we're just kind of waiting until this index will give us a better indication of what it wants to do further. For now, I mean, although as I mentioned this morning, although we could be seeing here a possible double top pattern here, still, if you want to be a little bit more on the safe side, well, a nice good daily close either below this 13,866 territory, or even better, a nice daily close below the 13,830 territory marked by the low of 10th of February. That could give us a better indication that the index is willing to drift further south. But at the moment, it's not really doing that, and it's not really giving us any indication for the upside as well. So we're kind of stuck here. So that's why I'm going to leave it for now. I'm just going to continue observing the price action. Now, jumping into the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now, here I talked about this index. I talked about it yesterday, and of course, yesterday, as you remember, we saw a nice little kind of decline initially, but it managed to recover. Here and push back to the upside here. Yesterday we've created a new all-time high, and let me just put this one on the chart. There we go. So closing this one, so it hit the 31,644 territory, roughly around there. Looking at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is currently trading around the let me just quickly double check that. It's currently trading near the 31,468 territory. So we'll probably get ourselves a nice little gap here to the downside. Well, however, the gap will be within yesterday's trading range, but as I've mentioned to you previously, that if we get a drop back below this 31,444 territory right here, then yes, we will go for slightly lower areas, initially kind of aiming for this key support zone between the 31,224 and the 31,272 territories, and if that gets broken, of course, this would confirm kind of a possible move towards a larger correction to the downside. But again, we need a drop, another good drop below the 31,444 mark. So let's keep an eye on that one. Currently, it seems that the index is on the right track of doing that, but will we have enough steam, or should I say, will the bears have enough steam today? Well, let's wait and see. For the upside, pretty straightforward. I would prefer to wait for a push above the 31,644 mark right here in order to go for some higher levels. Silver. Silver is stuck. It's stuck. On one hand, it's trading still above both of these kind of upside lines here. One, the medium term one is drawn from the low of the 18th of March. The shorter term one is drawn from the low the 30th of November, and also at the same time it's trading above the 21-day EMA. However, it's still struggling with this 27.92 territory. So in order to go for some higher levels, well, I would like to see a push above this barrier. And yep, in a way, if we get a push above this barrier, then yes, higher levels could be met. Excuse me. But for now, again, be very careful here. I mean, this could easily turn around here if suddenly the US dollar kind of rises. But for now, basically, we are still trading above this 21-day EMA. So in a way, there is a lot still kind of leaning towards the upside, but we cannot really target the upside until we get that break here. So again, also another kind of waiting game here. US oil, which is WTI oil, and here you can see that currently it's forming a possible doji here. Now don't get me wrong, we did have a few dojis already, but looking at this picture, I mean, maybe this will be that moment where we'll see a bit of a corrective move here to the downside. However, again, it's again, I do understand that we could have had a possible correction here, for example, when we had the little doji here, for example, on the 10th of February. What I said was that keep your eyes on this hurdle, this key support area around the 57.27 and 57.40 zone. But as you can see, it acted as a good support area and popped higher. Then we had another little doji here, and it did drift initially to the downside yesterday. However, it then popped heavily to the upside here, and well, today we had another push higher, but it seems that the bulls are losing steam. So, well, can they totally lose control? Well, let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait for tomorrow's day. But again, if we take a look at the weekly candle here, you'll see a nice decent move here. Of course, not as big as, for example, the week before that and before that. It means that basically could be that the buying power is kind of fading away here a little bit. I mean, don't get me wrong, we already had quite a decent up move here. So yeah, let's see how tomorrow day is going to play out, and if we get a drift lower, this weekly candle could potentially form something of a maybe a shooting star or something like that. So, but again, that's a bit of maybe getting ahead of myself here. Let's see if that's going to play out actually like that. Ethereum. So staying still above this barrier. Now, I have to admit, this idea didn't really kind of work out. I mean, well, it's one of those where you have to kind of take it in, and well, yep, it didn't really work out. So it did have a little retracement here, but then it wasn't that significant here, and yep, yesterday we saw a pop above the the previous highest point of February near the 1873 territory. The cryptos continue to rally, and well, I mean, for this, let me just kind of zoom. I mean, today we're trading, we've hit a new all-time high. Is this the final all-time high? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, guys. For now, it's just a kind of, like I said, it's one-way traffic. We still cannot find any potential kind of reversal signal, but one of the reversal signs could be, let's say, if today's candle by any chance drifts heavily to the downside here and falls below this 1873 territory. Now that's where it could become very, very interesting for more sellers, so keep that in mind, guys. But of course, don't forget that looking at the monthly candle here, I mean, this is just insane. I mean, another explosion here. I mean, the January candle was already a radical one, but this one is also kind of following the footsteps of January trading activity. So I'm really curious how March is going to be. I mean, will we get a bit of a fading off here? Well, we'll have to wait and see, guys. For now, I mean, it's just like I said, one-way traffic. USDCAD very quickly on this. So again, worked out perfectly, or should I say partially, because the idea, if you remember a few sessions ago, I said that my idea is that we could see a push higher, maybe a test of this 21-day EMA or even this downside line, and if that this area provides good resistance, then yep, another slide here could be possible. Now, the 1.2630 territory, that's going to be my next target again, or should I say, that's going to be my target again, not next, but again, because we have visited that area already. So yeah, I mean, let's see how this is going to play out near this level. That's my first aim. But if that gets broken, of course, the next target is the lowest point of January near the 1.2590 zone. In terms of the upside, now this is going to be very tricky here. Of course, don't get me wrong. At one point, kind of, we are quite overstretched here to the downside, because as you can see here, for example, from mid-March of last year, this has been just going lower and lower, yep, we have lost quite a decent amount here. So again, maybe of course a bit of a corrective move here at some point this year. We probably will see that, but again, we need that break here of this downside line first. We cannot really examine higher levels until we get a daily candle kind of staying above this downside line. GBPCHF. This one is on fire and exploding, basically it's now trading near this 1.2530 territory, not far from here, and that's basically a key area of resistance. So this level here is the one that I'm keeping an eye on, because well, I mean, this area previously was seen as a good area of support. Now it could be taking the role of resistance. So will we get a further move higher? Well, let's wait and see. But again, of course, the trend is very strong, but we could be now seeing signs of topping. If the pair remains below this hurdle, below this area, then yes, another possible slide here could be possible. A corrective move lower here could be possible. So yep, be very careful with that, guys. But again, for now, it seems that it's kind of one-way traffic again. But of course, it's very tempting to go short. Let's see how this is going to play out here. For now, I'm keeping an eye on this one, and I'm keeping an eye on this daily candle. If it stays below this hurdle, and maybe, just maybe, we could see a bit of a corrective move here to the downside going later on. So yeah, let's see how that's going to play out. The weekly candle, of course, is quite strong here. I mean, you can see this move above this this barrier. We do have that 200-day EMA on the weekly chart. So again, let's see how this is going to play out. For now, I'm just keeping an eye on this hurdle, and I want to see if this is going to act as a good area of resistance or not. And if we see the daily candle staying today below that area, then yes, well, maybe we could just go for a bit of a corrective move to the downside. Euro against the Swedish krone, and this is something that you probably don't look at very often, but it's sometimes these pairs sometimes present themselves with nice opportunities. And basically today, for example, we had some data. We had the Swedish CPI figures, which came out, the month-on-month came out as expected at minus 0.4, but the headline year-on-year figure came out slightly on the better side. And yep, we saw the pair kind of drifting a little bit back to the downside here. But now it's kind of it's interesting to see, will we get a further decline on this one? I mean, so far I would say that it is kind of near this key support zone, which is the lowest point of December, and near the lowest point of January, and that level is around the 10.009. So, or in other words, we could probably round it up here a little bit towards that psychological 10 zone, but to be honest, not really, because the psychological 10 zone is just below here. So yep, 10.009 area. That's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. If we get a drop below this will confirm a forthcoming lower low, and further declines could be possible. Now, overall, you can see that we are trading below this downside line right here. In order to go for some higher levels, well, guess what? I mean, a break of this downside line is needed. And finally, EURUSD. So the pair is popping higher today, moving back above this 1.2059 territory, and but still staying below the 21-day EMA. So again, this brings me back into neutral territory. I'm gonna just observe the price action here because, to be honest, I would prefer to kind of wait here for a more clear indication of what it wants to do further. So for me to consider the upside, I would still like to see a push above the 1.2156 territory right here, and for the downside, I would like to see a drop below the 1.2023 territory, marked by the low of yesterday, and then yes, lower levels could be met. So keep your eyes on that one. So guys, that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're going to have a great evening as well. So yeah, for now I'll have to wrap it up here. If join me tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, guys, have a wonderful evening. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.